Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to talk again about finance and money. One of the last videos I spoke about why is investing important. I hope those who are not are now a little bit more convinced. If not, please click on the link. I have tagged the video here as well. Watch the video about why is investing important. So today I thought I will take to the next step, which is where do you invest? Now, let me give a disclaimer that I'm not a professional trained finance planner. I'm not authorized to give finance advice. But what I'm just doing is just sharing some thoughts about broader views on what are the different types of investment options available and where you can invest. I'm not saying where you should invest. I'm just giving what are the options available for you to invest. So please don't blame me if you're making a wrong investment choice. I'm giving you a broader perspective only, and this will give you some good guidance of what are the options available. So let's get started. Firstly, there are broadly 5 categories where you can make investments. Now, these categories are definitely well known for many people, but for some people like me, even I was, or I'm still, I would say, a bit of a finance illiterate guy. I'm learning by reading, speaking to people. Recently, one of the persons I spoke with was Radhika Gupta from Edelweiss, a very seasoned finance expert, but also a genuinely nice person. When I spoke to her about investing in Edelweiss, she recommended that I speak to an authorized financial planner. And that's what exactly I did. And from there, I've been taking my journey as well. But my journey of investing, in fact, started when I was 31, very late. Before that, I had just bought a property. This was in Australia. At 31, I used a professional finance planner. Now, for those who can start working with financial planners, maybe when you start making a little bit of money, I would recommend that because they are the experts. Please don't try and do all by yourself only. If you are able to provide the necessary time, then you can do it. But please don't invest blindly just because your friend is investing or your father is investing or your relative is investing. Do your own research and then you do investment. So what's the first obvious investment choice that you have seen and you've heard, and you probably are doing it as well? These are fixed instruments, mostly fixed deposits and bonds. Now, fixed deposits, I'm not a big fan of it. It's safe, of course. It is low risk, low return. Basically, any bank or any organization takes your money, they give it back to you after a duration of period. If you invest it for long term, your returns are a little bit more higher. You can get an interest of anywhere between 4 to 6%. India is a little bit better off, but if you go to countries like Japan, it's almost like zero or even negative interest. You have to pay money to the bank to keep your money. But India, you get a decent return, 4 to 6%. It's not very high. I wouldn't recommend because even if you consider inflation, it doesn't help. It gives you very low return. But if you're having, let's say, for example, 10,000 rupees, it's always good to put a bouquet of different choices, and one of them can be FD. So that's on fixed deposits. Now, what are bonds? Bonds are very similar to fixed deposits. Here also, a company, for example, instead of going to the market, getting shareholders, or getting money from banks where the borrowing rates are very high, they would get bonds from people. Here the returns are slightly higher than FD, maybe 8 to 10% is a return you get. Again, you get your fixed capital back, plus you get the interest on what you have paid as a dividend and stuff. So this is better than fixed deposit, but still not a very high risk, high return kind of game. It's still a low risk, low kind of game. Again, if you want to put a small amount of money, you can, just as a safe bet, but I wouldn't recommend it very strongly from what I have understood as well, the bonds market. But for distributing your risk, it's definitely not a bad choice. Now, that's the first part. Then second comes the most famous equity market. Equity market, share market, big bull run, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange. These are different things you must have heard. This is an obvious one. Many people invest. It is high risk, high return. Your principal that you put there is not guaranteed to come back to you. Your share can devalue quite a lot for various reasons, external reasons, internal reasons. But a lot of people have made huge returns. On an average, the share market has given returns of 15 to 16% over the last decade and a half or so. So there is a good reason why you should put money in shares in equity market. Nowadays, a lot of people are investing in Chinese equity, in American equity. So you distribute your risk even more, not just Indian equity. If you're not sure, you can start off with blue chip companies, very traditional old companies. Check their balance sheet. Check if if the owners themselves have invested huge shares in the company. That gives you some comfort, and that could be a good starting point. That's what I started off with, in fact, as well. And then slowly, once you learn the bull market, the share market, then you can start diversifying. Again, don't do it just because your friend is saying invest in a company, right? Don't do that. Do your own research. And that is why if you want to invest in equity market, you need to have some amount of time to do research. If you don't do that, it's not going to be easy for you. Now, once you have looked at the choice of equities, the next choice you have is property. I was a very traditional property buyer. Again, depends on which country. Like in India, the yield for property is quite low. Yield is nothing but when you rent out the place, is it going to generate enough income to pay off your rents, your mortgage? Is it going to be good enough to pay off your mortgage or the loan that you took? Like in Australia, for example, the rent I receive from my properties, it pays off my mortgage, which is then net zero impact for me. So whatever rent I get, I just pay off my loan every month, the home loan. But in India, it's not possible, right? Because the interest rates are very high. Your return rental yields are low. So it doesn't pay off. You have to put money from your pocket. But there are different types of real estate as well. You can look at commercial real estate, which may give you a better return. Maybe a small shop in a shopping mall or in a row of shops. Warehouse, for example. You don't have to always only buy residential real estate. There are other real estates as well, right? Like farmland. So look at an option. The only problem is with real estate, you need a bit more money, right? You need a few lakhs at least, depending on where you buy. Maybe at least as a starting point, 4 or 5 lakhs to buy a small piece of land in a faraway kind of place. So that's the only issue. But then there's also a lot of paperwork hassles, right? You got to go to the registrar, get the property registered, make sure it's well maintained. There are rules on maintenance. So all those things you need to be aware of. So study them well before you invest in a property. The last bit is gold. Again, being from India, my family buys a lot of gold, but of course, solid gold to keep at home, not to wear. It's more as an investment that, I've seen people buying. You can also buy digital gold now. Gold is a medium risk, medium return kind of investment, so you can look at that. That's also not a bad choice. See, overall, my suggestion is try to spread your risk. Don't put money, a lot of them in one place. For example, one thing I forgot to mention is startup investments. So I've just started, doing startup investments. Of course, you need a little bit more money for that, at least 3 to 4 lakhs if you're going through a syndicate and stuff. And if you're looking at that, that's a good option as well. Again, I don't put more money in one startup. I distribute it over 5 to 10 different startups. So these are different ways you can do your investments. And if you spread your investments into different risk areas, you will have a balanced growth of your money. So I hope this video helped you all to get some more little basic idea about money investment. I'm not making any videos for the super intelligent smart financial planners. It's a very simple video for those who want to understand basics of where to invest. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Till I see you again, stay fit, stay positive, keep chasing obscene success. Thank you, my dear friends. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.